for whatever he thinks. He's got his plan, and then this guy's has this is how we do it. This guy, well, how come you're not talking about what they're doing? And how come you're not talking about the Jews? And how come you're not talking about conspiracy theorists are accusing each other of being shills all the time because they're not, like Alex Jones has his own agenda.
Friggin' frog crap! Won't you fight the frogs?
We came, we saw, he died. Look!
We came, we saw, he died.
Look!
Equality has nothing to do with whites. We don't want to be equal with the white man. He's not the criteria or yardstick by which equality is measured. He's not in a position to tell us we are equal. It's not his right. It's not his to do. Equality, we want equality. We had equality before the white man was created. We had equality before the white man came into existence. And we want equality whether the white man is on this earth or not. Equality means the opportunity to develop all of our dormant potential, all of our dormant capability. And in developing this dormant capability, the right and the ability to stand on this earth on some land of our own and bring about a civilization and a society in which we will be completely independent, complete freedom.
Like Alex Jones is like, you know what? There's different levels of conspiracy theory.
To go deep on one thing.
Alex Jones, he's into certain conspiracy theories, and it's like, you know, he's got his plan, his agenda to wake people up or whatever.
Your book, Alien Worlds, and the Fate of the Earth.
Yeah, all about it.
That's deep shit, man. Just the title alone, you're like, whoa.
They will simply continue to be one of the infants of humanity, never developing past the I'm talking louder than you, so I must be right.
Love aliens. Everybody loves aliens.
Everybody does, but what are your thoughts on actual aliens and whether or not they've ever visited here?
The ancients said it's what they warned of, it's what we're dealing with. They're demons. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders, okay? I'll just say it, make fun of me all you want on CNN or wherever, but everyone already innately knows this. These people are not frickin' humans, okay? Hillary Clinton is a goddamn demon.
I think he's a government plot.
He's not. I'll tell you that for sure. I've known him forever. I've known Alex since 1998. He's not a government plot.
He couldn't tell you because you would tell everybody.
He's not.
Just like the Bible says, it's basically an intergalactic invasion into this space through people. I'm telling you, it's what all the ancients said, it's what they warned of, it's what we're dealing with.
I've hung out with that guy. I get high with him. We should tell everybody you have a background in science.
I do. I'm an astrophysicist at the University of Rochester. I run a research group that studies like stars and planets. And
so you're not a crazy person I brought on here.
No. I'm a card-carrying scientist. I got my card and everything.
If you base medicine on science, you cure people. If you base the design of planes on science, they fly. If you base the design of rockets on science, they reach the moon. It works, bitches.
When you look at climate change, right, basically what it is civilizations are giant machines for turning energy into work.
I have to ask you this, since it's Columbus Day, does that mean anything to you as a Native person?
I mean, with no disrespect to anyone, I think asking Native people to celebrate Columbus Day is kind of like asking the American people to celebrate Osama bin Laden Day.
American laws are not the black man's laws.
Well, the laws here in America were made by white people for the benefit of white people. The Constitution was written by whites for the benefit of whites. It was never written for the benefit of blacks. And when you read the Constitution, I think in Article 1, Section 2, or Section 1, Article 1, some one of the two, and it's in the Constitution, it says that it classifies black people as 3/5 of a man. 3/5 of a man, subhuman, less than a human being. It relegates us to the level of cattle, hogs, chickens, cows, a commodity that could be bought and sold at the will of the master. No, it was written by whites for the benefit of whites and to the detriment of blacks. And when a black man stands up talking about his constitutional rights, he's out of his mind.
Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand?
And I actually think that terrorism arrived on this hemisphere with Columbus, because for us as Native people, the experience that we had was, you know, I mean, how did my land become somebody else's country?
I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only like 11 people alive of the 200-and-something crew, and the entire ship was rotting down to the waterline. That's destiny. That's will. That's striving. That's being a trailblazer. An explorer, going into space, mathematics, quantum mechanics, the secrets of the universe. It's all there. Life is fiery with its beauty, its incredible detail. Tuning into it. They want to shatter your mind talking about Justin Bieber.
Fair enough.
Columbus. I guess I'll just start with Columbus. See, I have a real problem about all of this. I mean, see, to me, he was like a virus, a disease.
We went through this major revolution in our understanding of planets about 20 years ago. So you look back at the Greeks, right, and you can see them arguing about whether any other stars had planets other than, you know, the sun. And, you know, it goes back and forth. You know, some of the Greeks were like, yeah, it's definitely happening. And then, like, Aristotle was like, no, we're the only world in the whole universe, you know, that has life.
That's the pollution. Because in order for this predatory system, this disease, to work, we must not be able to use our minds in a clear, coherent manner.
Stars in the universe. Some people, this depresses them. Among them, this gentleman, a professor of psychology at the University of Pennsylvania. We opened a space show 11 years ago that was a zoom out from Earth. And Earth shrunk down, and the solar system shrunk down, and it just became one of the stars in the background field. Then our whole galaxy shrunk down, and it was just one of countless other galaxies in the universe. He saw that space show. I am assistant professor of social cultural psychology, University of Pennsylvania. I want to conduct a research project in collaboration with the planetarium. My research focuses on the psychological experiences associated with feelings of insignificance. I'm thinking, damn, bummer of a job.
Have you guys heard this one?
What? What's he like when he comes home? Honey, I'm home. How was work today? Miserable.
Planets are basically like nature's way of taking sunlight and doing something interesting with it. So you have 10 billion trillion planets in the universe, right?
Because if we use our minds in a clear, coherent manner, we will not accept the unacceptable. But it's a disease, lives and travels through the mind, through the generations.
Become a human again!
Also, I do a lot of work on climate change. And so I deal with a lot of climate change denial.
And your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson.
What?
What do I do, Lord?
Destroy the child, corrupt them all.
This is their plan, people. These are demons.
But then 20 years ago, we discovered our first planet.
Isn't that crazy when you really think about that? 20 years is such a short amount of time. 1998.
Yeah, yeah. And nobody knew before that. Like, nobody knew whether there were any planets, right?
Murdering scum. I want to get humanity awake. I want to get our forces up. And then I want to bring these people to justice, and you know what I mean. You know what I mean. 42,000 pairs, 6X for the illegal aliens from south of Mexico that bus up on a train every day. To understand, folks, you could wear this. I could wear this as a onesie, okay?
Do you know what Operation Mockingbird is?
Of course he doesn't.
Of course you don't.
How many gun murders were there in Britain?
How many great white sharks?
No, how many kill people every year, but they're scared to swim.
You know, when I was starting in astronomy, people were like, well, we don't know whether there's going to be any other planets. And we went from, so the first one was actually 96, I think, 95, 96. From that to now, where we know that every freaking star in the sky has a planet, at least one. You know, pretty much everyone. I mean, the giant ones maybe not, but they're so rare that, you know, pretty much every star you see in the sky has a family of planets around it.
All I'm saying is, when I look at all of it, when I look at the photographic evidence, or I look at the fact that we haven't been back since 1972, when I look at the fact that no humans except the Apollo astronauts have ever gone through the Van Allen radiation belt, the fact that no one's even done a flyby around the moon since then, it seems weird to me. When I look at the press conference and I see Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins nervous and weird and obviously, like, being deceptive after they came back, I go, what is that?
No human being ever, since the Apollo astronauts, has gone more than 400 miles up.
That's about right, yeah.
That's ridiculous. 260,000 miles there and back, and the best they can do since 1972 is 400 miles?
Yeah. And now, while you're saying it's ridiculous because you can't believe it, I think it's ridiculous because I can believe it very well. There was Northrop Grumman, there was North American.
Nice. Yeah, Grumman lost all their stuff, so did Boeing. They lost all their information, too, on the moon buggy, on the lunar module. They lost all that stuff.
This is
How convenient.
It's another argument brought up by conspiracy theorists. Not to me. Each one of these missions, each one of these lunar landers was different. It's not like they designed a car and then just cranked them out. They had an overall design, and then each one was different. Each one they had to note all of these changes and everything, and it was all done on paper.
I gotta tell you, Phil, I'm not done with you, bitch.
Speaking of flying through space, you don't think the moon landing is real?
No, I don't. No. Do you?
Yeah.
Why do you think the moon landing is real? Why don't you tell me why?
I saw it on television.
Oh, you're a genius. Oh, beep that. Hit that.
We'll bleep it. We'll bleep it. No, it's okay. We got
That's genius. You saw it on TV? That's awesome. I'm going to show you some CGI. I'm going to show you King Kong. I saw that on TV, too. There's an 80-foot gorilla. He's running around kidnapping white chicks. You should check it out. 1972 was the last time a human being has been through the Van Allen radiation belt. 1972. That's the last time. There's been only 7 trips ever that human beings have ever gone past 400 miles. Every single space station mission, every space shuttle, every satellite, all of those are inside the protective Van Allen radiation belts, which start at 1,000 miles. They go from 1,000 miles to, depending on who you ask, if you ask NASA, 24,000 miles. If you ask James Van Allen, the guy who discovered it, it's 67,000 miles of intense radiation that's in a gigantic donut band that covers around the Earth. Now, even if you got outside of that band, you have to deal with solar cycles. There's the apex of a 20-year solar cycle was between 1969 and 1972. All the time when these guys are making those missions.
For me, I'm 100% convinced the moon landings were faked. You don't have to believe that.
What about flat Earth?
I love him so much. I gotta go home.
I love Eddie. What about flat Earth, Eddie?
There's no proof that the Earth is flat. But
when you look into don't you butt. No. Don't you butt that, goddamn it. There's a 24,000 feet from the fucking space station. There's a 24,000 feet from the fucking space station. There's a 24,000 feet from the fucking space station.
I saw it on television.
Oh, you're a genius. Oh, beep that. Hit
Okay,
that.
we'll bleep it. We'll bleep it. No, it's okay. We got
That's genius. You saw it on TV? That's awesome. I'm going to show you some CGI. I'm going to show you King Kong. I saw that on TV, too. There's an 80-foot gorilla. He's running around kidnapping white chicks. You should check it out.
There's no proof that the Earth is flat. But why are all the pictures of Earth from space CGI, admitted by NASA? It's the way our satellites.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap it up.
I saw it on television.
Oh, you're a genius.
I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Real quick.
Flat Earth.
You know when you look at the stars every night?
Yeah.
You see the Orion belt?
Yeah.
Why can't I just talk? I mean, why is this annoying? This is a stoner talk, dude. That's all.
This is definitely not stoner talk.
This is the question. And this is the Earth.
Because all this stuff has been figured out, Eddie. There's astrophysicists that work their whole life on this.
I saw it on television.
Oh, you're a genius.
Why don't you read some books and get into it,
No.
I don't hold us here hostage asking these crazy questions.
Listen,
you shoot a missile when you shoot a bullet. Even I think snipers have to take into account the curvature of the Earth.
No, I'm talking about flat Earth. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the stars.
Let's wrap this up.
I'm talking
I gotta
about
get
the
out of here.
stars.
I really gotta get out of here. I can't do this.
I wanted to see if it was flat, though.
It's definitely not flat.
I don't know if it's
Good night,
flat or not.
everybody.
I don't know.
See ya.
Right.
But you've got hordes of people burning down cities and beating old women's brains out every day.
What a ridiculous
They arrest
statement.
people in England if they defend themselves. That's on record.
How
man. You're a hatchet man of the New World Order. Okay. You're a hatchet man.
That is so nuts. It's so nuts that this is such a new discovery.
Yeah.
I mean, when we think about what we know about the universe, we think that we've had a pretty good understanding of it for a long time.
Right.
But the fact that we didn't even know for sure that there are planets.
Right.
And I want to say this right here. You think you're a tough guy? Have me back with a boxing ring in here, and I'll wear red, white, and blue, and you can wear your Jolly Roger. How many chimpanzees can dance on the head of a pin?
Maybe we should be developing our loyalty to this planet and this earth and our future, our descendants, more than we should be to governing political systems that have created all these problems. See, but now most people are trying to find solutions to the problems, but they're trying to do it within the confines of the confined abstractions of democracy. And so if they're not willing to think objectively about our responsibilities towards our own descendants, then they will come up with no solutions.
It's brains,
Alex,
it's people.
I'm trying to get inside your brains.
Pierce,
it's
if
not
you punched me right
easy.
now, it'd be not your fist,
Alex,
but your brain that did it. Outside Austin, Texas, knowing that I can defend my family.
Okay, Alex Jones. This is
Infowars.com.
This is the man who wants to deport me from the country for wanting to get rid of
it's to point out you're a foreigner.
To establish our own nation, our own society, our own heaven, our own future. This is what we mean by freedom, by equality, and justice means as you sow, so shall you reap. If you do wrong, you'll get wrong in return. And if you do right, you'll get right in return. When you're in your own nation, in your own land, you're in a position to get justice. But when you're in another man's country, in another man's land, under another man's flag, and under another man's government, and under another man's court system, you have to look to that other man for justice, and you'll never get it. And Negroes in this country probably are authorities on that.
A red coat here telling us what to do.
Whatever.
Go back to where they took the guns if you don't like it. The communist...
Levine, yeah, that's Chuck's real name, mistook this rock star for his own selfish exit strategy, bro. Check it, Alex. I embarrassed him in front of his children and the world by healing at a pace that his unevolved mind cannot process.
Front had management, according to Charlie, and I've been there when he's on the phone with his management or his manager comes over.
You're talking too fast for me, baby. Slow down.
Well, I know we don't have a lot of time. I'm getting it on record.
Aggressive disorder.
Let's just remember, you know, Charlie's been a star. Charlie's been a star for 30 years, and all people know about is these episodes where he explodes. The Charlie Sheen I know is a compassionate guy who's really smart.
All the arguments for the entire history of humanity have just been two dudes yelling at each other, right? But in the next 30 years, because the stuff we're building, and now that we know there's planets, we're going to have real data to argue over with. So, man, it's like we're in a whole nother ball game now.
I think the big fear for a lot of people is what happens when we find out for sure that there's something else out there.
Yeah.
If we really do find like some other Manhattan on some Goldilocks planet that's hovering some similarly sized star a billion light years away or whatever the hell it is, that's going to be very, very, very strange.
It will be. It'll be a game changer, right? Because for religions, I mean, wow, what do you do if you find other intelligent creatures who are building civilization?
You start making them pay taxes. That's what you do.
Now we know that Bilderberg has given us the euro.
Yes, I mean, if you talk to Alex for any length of time, you discover all kinds of things that you didn't know about the world.
We've blown it wide open.
You have. You have absolutely blown it wide open. But it leaves me with a huge question for you, Alex. And it's really, you have uncovered the New World Order, which is deadly. It's full of what you call people who are criminals. Well, this is what I'm coming to. It's full of criminals, etc., who seek to run the world and will kill anybody who gets in their way. And you are almost, have been, a lone crusader powering against them.
No,
so how come? How am I alive? How are you still alive?
Why am I alive?
Well, no, which is yes. Listen,
why am I alive?
Which is the explanation? One, they don't exist. Or two, you're part of the conspiracy.
No, let me tell you.
The objective of COINTELPRO was simple: undermine and destroy popular movements by any means.
Infiltration, destabilization.
The Brown Berets, we were victims of agent provocateurs, police infiltration. They tried to incite our members to go and commit acts of violence.
As the black nationalist movements gained traction nationwide, it also gained the FBI's attention.
They labeled the Black Panther Party as public enemy #1.
And the promising young leader Fred Hampton a target.
When I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary.
Hampton was shot to death in his apartment. He was 21 years old.
If you take Fred Hampton, it was out-and-out murder, direct murder. If they can't misdirect him, they just kill him. That's the rule. That's the history of the United States government.
American Indians are becoming militant, demanding the government take action to help solve their problems of poverty and discrimination.
At the site of the 1890 Wounded Knee Massacre, the American Indian movement held the government at gunpoint. The FBI moved in immediately. Dennis Banks was an AIM leader.
The suspicion was starting to rise after we realized what they were doing to the Black Panthers, and we had a series of meetings, the American Indian movement did, saying, look, we've got to be aware that there's a great possibility that they might be, targeting us for infiltrations.
A reign of terror soon gripped the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. Over 60 AIM members were murdered. Others were dragged through the courts. Like Leonard Peltier, imprisoned for murdering 2 FBI agents. But some suggest the evidence and witnesses were flawed, corrupted. Today, to many, he's America's foremost political prisoner.
What we recognize now as political prisoners are people who came out of this era, who were the results of these attacks and who are still in prison. The United States government does not recognize having any political prisoners.
Before there were the WikiLeaks papers or the Pentagon papers, there were the COINTELPRO papers. In the late 1970s, activists broke into the FBI's field office in Pennsylvania, where they stole thousands of documents pertaining to the FBI's program. Almost immediately, a scandal exploded, and top officials from the FBI's National Bureau here in Washington, D.C. were summoned to Capitol Hill for a congressional investigation which exposed the FBI's covert war against political dissidents in the United States. The Church Committee concluded many of the techniques used would be intolerable in a democratic society today, even if all targets had been involved in violent activity. But COINTELPRO went far beyond that. The Bureau conducted a sophisticated vigilante operation aimed squarely at preventing the exercise of First Amendment rights of speech and association.
COINTELPRO was very dangerous for American society and even for the American judicial system to support that kind of raw terrorism.
A culture of surveillance, paranoia, and suspicion from the past that some argue has left American protest or dissident movements in disarray even today.
Let me tell you a story.
I say the first.
5 years ago when Obama and Hillary...
I say the second.
5 years ago when Hillary and Obama were at Bilderberg and the Secret Service was there in helicopters, the New York Times came out and said I was crazy. There was no Bilderberg group meeting. And my wife got phone calls, and so did I, threatening to kill us. And the people said, and you better take it serious because you were just talking to your dad that was in the hospital. You better shut your mouth or we're going to cut your head off.
But
now
they were going to kill you,
they listen to everybody's phone lines. They call up and harass people that expose them and tell them what they were just talking about. You're going to say there's no spying.
Alex,
it's like Nazi Germany. We only spy on the bad guys, huh?
You let him speak now.
Well, sir, Alex, I saw one of your ministers say this, though.
No, Alex, I'm here.
There's tyranny.
No, shut up.
Infowars.com.
I'm here to testify that your head was not cut off.
Oh, shit, I broke the mask.
Yeah. Central Texas, the capital wars, spires of the Dark Lord, their vision to make us fall. It's the belly of the beast, heart of the empire, Bush Imperium, thrall, endless darkness. It's the belly of the beast, truth with no compromise. Live from Austin, Texas, strap yourselves in. It's the belly of the beast.
I mean, we literally didn't even bring up what the subject is, and Brian, you jumped on it.
Excuse me, sir.
You did.
Excuse me, sir.
You did, because this
Excuse
seems to
me.
be a real
You started
thing.
talking about
Well, no,
Pizzagate.
you can't say it's a real thing because of Wikipedia.
Yeah.
It's on the internet.
Sir, you brought up Pizzagate. All I do with Pizzagate
I
is
didn't bring it up. I fucking for sure
didn't bring it. And all I know is God help us, we're in the hands of pure evil. I love how the fake news is saying we're fake news, and they're specifically crapping themselves over Pizzagate, and their answer is to say it's all fake. No, WikiLeaks released this. This is leaked all the Pizzagate stuff as a checkmate. Instead of them using this against our government, they've recruited pedophiles in the government. You know, have my reporters covering Pizzagate, and I've mentioned it some. Pizzagate, as it's called, is a rabbit hole that is horrifying to go down. Now, if you're a radio listener, this is a powerful video, but I've had it reposted This is on Infowars.com. Pizzagate is real. The only question is, what exactly is it? Let's go ahead and go to the report. Pizzagate is real. The question is, how real is it? What is it? Something's going on. Something's being covered up. Pizzagate is real. The only question is exactly what is it? Kids being... I can't even say it on air, folks.
She's got busted, okay? The guy who walks in the Pizzagate, right, this kid who's got an IMDb, walks in with a gun demanding to see something. Him and his father work for Beyond Borders. Who do you think funds both of those organizations? The Clinton Foundation.
Of course.
Has funded both Beyond Borders and the New Life Child refugee group that has already been busted stealing kids.
Yeah.
Guess where Beyond Borders is located? Across the street from Comic Ping Pong. It is on the same street as fucking Comet Ping Pong. Yeah. That is fucking quinky dinks, man.
And nobody's investigating.
Nobody, except for Sam Tripoli Late Night. It's just out there. I'm not saying Pizzagate is 100% real. I'm saying it's naive to say it can't happen.
Well, the establishment for the last few years had everyone convinced that InfoWars and Alex Jones are just crazy motherfuckers, and they're now... Shit, they underestimated InfoWars. They underestimated. Donald Trump was basically getting all his news from InfoWars. And Ron Paul, everyone knows Ron Paul's the truth. He's on InfoWars all the time. So if you believe InfoWars is some trashy National Enquirer type news outlet, you're wrong. They're the truth. InfoWars is the truth. Alex Jones is crazy, but he's out for the truth. He's out for liberty. And think about what he does. Get that InfoWars app and just listen to him.